Good morning, dear students. Welcome to Social Science class. Henry Ford says that anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Let us be young always by learning. Today I am going to present 7th chapter from History, Mauryas and Kushans. In this chapter you will learn the establishment of Mauryan Empire, the role of Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya in the establishment of Mauryan Empire, the achievements of Chandragupta Maurya and the Emperor Ashoka, administration and contributions of Mauryans to art and architecture, the history of Kushans, administration and contributions of Kanishka. In today's session, you are going to learn about the Mauryan Empire, which was the first great empire of India. The Mauryan Empire was the first great empire of India. Under their regime, a number of small kingdoms were united and brought under single rule. India achieved political unity for the first time. The Mauryans not only liberated northwestern part of India from the foreign rule, but also brought uniform administration which continued for several centuries. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of this dynasty. Pataliputra was their capital. Do you know, children, which part of India was called Pataliputra? The present Patna, which is the capital of Bihar, was known as Pataliputra earlier. We have too many sources to say about the Mauryan Empire. Among them, here we have a few resources which provides authentic information about the Mauryan Empire. They are Megasthenes Indica, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa, Deepavamsha and Mahavamsha, inscriptions and edicts of Ashoka. Let us know what are the information provided in these sources. The first one is Megasthenes Indica. Megasthenes was in India as the ambassador of Greeks in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. He has recorded his experiences at Pataliputra, Mauryan Empire, in his book Indica. Though the original book has remained untraced, later Greek writers like Arrian, Strabo, Diodorus and Pliny referred to it in their works. Indica reveals the city administration, especially Pataliputra city administration, social and religious life of Mauryan Empire. The next is Kautilya's Arthashastra. Arthashastra is written by the teacher and Prime Minister of Chandragupta Maurya, Kautilya. He is also known as Chanakya or Vishnugupta. Arthashastra is written in Sanskrit. It outlines the basic principles on administration, foreign affairs and judicial duties that a king ought to know. By reading this book, one can understand the politics, economy and administration, social and other aspects of Maurya period. Next source is Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa. Mudra Rakshasa is a Sanskrit play written by Vishakadatta. It narrates the process of Chandragupta Maurya being brought into the power by Kautilya. Deepavamsha and Mahavamsha. These two are Sri Lankan literary works. They narrate the efforts of Ashoka to spread Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Let us come to inscriptions of Ashoka. Inscriptions are the authentic sources of information on Ashoka. They tell about the boundaries of Ashoka's empire, his efforts to spread the Dhamma and details of Kalinga battle. Not only that, Ashoka is called as the father of inscriptions. Till today, his inscriptions are the first inscriptions to be read. Let us come to edicts of Ashoka. Ashoka was the first to issue edicts in India. They have been found throughout the length and breadth of the empire. The edicts help us to know about his ideals and outlook, besides throwing light on the religion, society and administration of Mauryas. The language of The edict is Prakrit, Pali, and Greek, and the script used is Brahmi and Kharosthi. Do you know, children, we have also got many edicts in Karnataka. Let me explain where do you find in Karnataka means it is there in Maski in Raichur district, Gavimata and Palkigonda in Koppala district, Brahmagiri, Siddhapura and Jatinga Rameshwara in Chitradurga district, Nittur and Udayagollam in Ballari district, Sannati in Kalburgi district. The edicts refer to the king as Devanampriya or Priyadarshi, which created doubts among the historians regarding the king who issued them. But the Maski edict, along with the Calcutta edict, refers to the king as Devanampriya Ashokasa. This confirmed that Devanampriya and Priyadarshi Raja was none other than Ashoka. Now let us see the list of rulers from Mauryan Empire. First is the founder Chandragupta Maurya. He ruled from 322 BCE to 298 BCE. Next, Bindusara. He ruled from 297 BCE to 272 BCE. Next we have the great ruler Ashoka. He ruled from 273 BCE to 232 BCE. Dashrata 232 BCE to 224 BCE. Samprati 224 BCE to 215 BCE. Salisuka 215 BCE to 202 BCE. Devavarman from 202 BCE to 195 BCE. Shatadhavan from 195 BCE to 187 BCE. Brihadrata, last ruler, 187 BCE to 185 BCE. Now, let us know about Kautilya, who played major role in the establishment of the Mauryan Empire. Kautilya was a famous statesman of ancient India. He was also known by other names Chanakya and Vishnugupta. You might have aware about Chanakya. You have read many stories about Chanakya's cleverness. He played an important role in the removal of Nandas and the establishment of Mauryan Empire. He was also largely responsible for setting up a well-organized administrative system. Kautilya wrote Arthashastra in Sanskrit language. Dr. Shama Shastri, the librarian of Oriental Research Institute at Mysore, discovered the text in 1905 and published its English version in 1909. Its contents can be divided into three main parts. What it includes: the first part deals with the king, his council, and the government. The second part deals with the civil and criminal law. The third part deals with interstate law, diplomacy, and war. Arthashastra outlines the 7 limbs of the state, which is called Saptanga, namely Raja means kingship, Mantri means council, Janapada means population and land, Durga means fort, Kosha means treasury, Bala means army, and Mitra means allies. So, he gives a clear picture about administration. Even today, children, even today, our government also have taken many policies given by Chanakya. Chanakya was the advisor and prime minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Chanakya played major role in the establishment of the Mauryan Empire. You will understand later. Now let us come to Chandragupta Maurya, who was the founder of Maurya dynasty. Chandragupta Maurya is the founder of this dynasty, and however, we don't know much about him. He had lost his father when he was young, and he was taken away by Chanakya, a Brahmin of Takshila, who gave him a necessary education. He helped Chandragupta Maurya in the establishment of Maurya Empire. Chandragupta built a strong army under the guidelines of Chanakya. He met Kautilya at Takshila. Kautilya, who later became famous as Chanakya, was a son of Brahmin. Kautilya too was wronged by Nandas. Hence, he joined hands with Chandragupta to destroy the Nanda dynasty. After a long series of battles with Chandragupta, the Nanda capital at Pataliputra fell. This led to the emergence of new dynasty that is none other than the Mauryan dynasty with Chandragupta Maurya as the emperor. Alexander, you might have heard about the name Alexander, the Greek ruler who had conquered many states in the northwestern part of India. After his death, his territories in the Indian subcontinent were taken over by Chandragupta Maurya. With the help of Chanakya, he embarked on the consolidation process of his empire. In 305 BC, India was attacked by Seleucus, a former general under Alexander. Chandragupta defeated Seleucus. According to the treaty signed with Seleucus, Chandragupta got Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Balochistan from Greek commander. Balochistan is in present Pakistan. Seleucus gave his daughter Helen in marriage to Chandragupta. With this, he just maintained friendly relations with Chandragupta. After this victory, Chandragupta appointed Pushyagupta as a governor of his northwestern province. He then proceeded to the south and captured some territories there. Chandragupta's empire extended from Kabul and Kandahar in the northwest to Mysore in the south and from Bengal in the east to Saurashtra in the west. He ruled for 24 years. After ruling 24 years, he just handed over his power to his son Bindusara and embraced Jainism under the influence of Jain scholar Bhadrabahu. He spent his last days at Shravanabelagola in Karnataka and died by performing Sallekhna in 300 BCE. The hill which he stayed is known as Chandragiri and the temple built by him as Chandragupta Basadi. Children, don't forget when you visit Shravanabelagola, don't forget to visit Chandragiri, which is just opposite to that hill, and you can see Chandragupta's Basadi there. This is about Chandragupta Maurya. After him, let us know few things about Bindusara, who was the next ruler. Bindusara succeeded his father, Chandragupta Maurya. He conquered many parts of South India after defeating 16 rulers. During his rule, he faced a revolt in Takshila. It was quelled by his second son Ashoka, the great ruler, who was the governor there. Bindusara maintained friendly relations with the rulers of Greece. Now, let us go to Ashoka, the great emperor, legendary emperor of Mauryan Empire. Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka was the greatest ruler of the Mauryas and one of the renowned rulers of the world. He is mentioned in his edict as Devanampriya and Priyadashi. Already we have spoke about this. This will indicate his great personality. He came to power in 273 BCE. As I said that he was appointed as a governor for Ujjain. Okay, but his coronation was celebrated in 268 BCE. The history from 273 to 269 BCE is not clear. Historians believe that during this period there was a struggle for succession between Ashoka and his 99 brothers. There is a very beautiful story about this. The story says that he just defeated all his 99 brothers and took over the power. And the next important incident in Ashoka's life is Kalinga War. Children, do you know which part was called as Kalinga? Kalinga is nothing but Odisha. The present Odisha was called Kalinga earlier. Kalinga War has changed his life into battle to peaceful life. Let us know how. Ashoka declared war on the Kalingas who refused to accept the rule of Mauryan Empire. During the reign of Ashoka, Kalinga was a powerful kingdom. Ashoka wanted to extend his imperialism over Kalinga. So he marched upon Kalinga. A fierce battle was fought between them. 13th Rock Edict gives a detailed description about the conquest of Kalinga and its results. According to 13th Rock Edict, nearly 1 lakh soldiers were killed and 1.5 lakh were captured as prisoners of war. Ashoka was so filled with the sorrow at the sight of bloodshed that this became his last war, and he decided to not to wage war again in future. Many people who got injured in the war and who lost their families, they cursed Ashoka like anything. All this made Ashoka to give up war. Ashoka changed his foreign policy. Instead of Digvijaya, that means military conquest, he adopted the policy of Dharma Vijaya, that means winning the hearts of people with a non-violence method. And thus the war of Kalinga became a turning point in the life of Ashoka. After this war, he embraced Buddhism under the influence of Upagupta, a Buddhist saint. Ashokan Empire. See that if you come to extension of if you come to the extension of Ashokaman's, see that his empire extended from Kashmir and Afghanistan region in the north to Karnataka in the south, and from Bengal in the east to Sindh and Balochistan in the west. He had vast empire. Only few parts of India was left out, and remaining rest all was in his control, including the Pakistan regions and Afghanistan region and part of Nepal also. So it says that he was a very great ruler. After Kalinga War, he didn't wage war, but he was able to administer and control all his kingdom in a very peaceful manner. If you go with the results of war, what happened afterwards? Kalinga War had profound effect on the policies and personality of Ashoka. The death and destruction caused by the Kalinga War brought about a great change in the personal and political life of Ashoka. Kalinga changed Ashoka's personal life. He stopped hunting and eating meat and abandoned the life of luxury. Ashoka declared Buddhism as a state religion. The prisoners of war were used for agricultural work. It resulted in increase in production and brought about economic prosperity in his empire. Not only that, see that he also gave up war and military preparedness. Due to this, the military preparedness lost its efficiency during this period. But nobody was dare enough to wage war against Ashoka. But later it became a cause for decline of Mauryan Empire. Now let us come to Buddhism and Ashoka. Here you can see the picture of Kalinga War, children. Okay, what made him to give up the war and battle. See, he lost many people. Many people lost their life and they got injured. And with this, he changed his mindset and he gave up a war. And afterwards, he adopted Buddhism. Buddhism and Ashoka. Let us know about this. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka became the people's king. He adopted Buddhism and he didn't impose that religion on his subjects. He wanted his subjects to follow such dharma that may be based on the unifying principles of all major religions of the world. The Dhamma, as described in Ashoka's edicts, is not a religion or a religious system, but it is a moral law, a common code of conduct, or ethical order which is common meeting ground for all religions. Ashoka's Dhamma explains respect to elders and love to children. Ahimsa policy, good deeds or good karma would give happiness to man in the next birth. He taught people to respect all religions and also he disapproved empty rituals. What was the impact of Dhamma, Ashoka's imperial policy, on the society? Means people belonging to different religions followed their emperor's policy of religious tolerance. They learnt religious tolerance. And not only that, people under the influence of Dhamma started living a moral life. The policy of ahimsa did have a great moral impact on people. Thefts, crimes, and other such activities almost came to an end during his period. Other side, with the policy of conquest and wars having come to an end, Ashoka's Dharma helped officials to undertake public welfare and public work schemes. This resulted in prosperity and helped people to lead a peaceful life. These are the effects of Buddhism on Ashoka. And not only that, he also made an effort to spread Buddhism across the world. He sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sangamitra to Sri Lanka with a Bodhi sapling as a symbol of peace. He undertook many welfare programs and he made donations to Buddhist monasteries and viharas. His motto was service and sacrifice. Just because of Ashoka, Buddhism spread in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, China, like that many countries started adopting Buddhism later. Children, herewith I would like to end today's session. Before I end, let us recall what we have learnt today. In today's class, you have learnt the establishment of Mauryan Empire, the achievements of Chandragupta Maurya and the great ruler Ashoka, a role of Chanakya in the establishment of Mauryan administration, and then the great battle fought by Ashoka, that is Kalinga battle, and results of Kalinga battle, and Buddhism and Ashoka. What are the contributions given by Ashoka to Buddhism? So, I hope you have understood the lesson. If you have any queries, children, please post it in WhatsApp group. Watch the video carefully and read the slides carefully and try to answer few questions. I would like to give few questions to you. Try to answer this in your homework book. The first question, please write down. State any two sources of information about Mauryan Empire. I'll repeat. State any two sources of information about the Mauryan Empire. Who wrote Arthashastra and what is its importance? Second question. Who wrote Arthashastra? What is its importance? The third question. Write the achievements of Chandragupta Maurya. Write the achievements of Chandragupta Maurya. And next question. Write a short note on the Battle of Kalinga. Write a short note on the Battle of Kalinga. Try to answer these questions in your homework book. And in tomorrow's session, you will learn social economical life under Mauryans, and then administration of Mauryans, and then Kushans and their contributions. Achievements of Kanishka. These things you are going to learn in next session. Till that, take care children. Thank you very much for listening. Let us meet in the next class.